Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful idea, and we're going to do it through a simple story. It's a parable, really, that kind of challenges us to rethink our worst moments and to ask ourselves, what if a total disaster, what feels like the absolute end of the road, is actually the very thing that saves us?
I mean, we've all been there, right? Your plans just completely fall apart. You get that rejection letter. Everything that can go wrong does go wrong. And in that moment, there's this one question that just echoes in your head. It feels so personal, almost like the universe is out to get you. But what if we're only seeing one tiny piece of a much, much bigger picture?
So, our story begins where so many of life's biggest lessons do, with a complete catastrophe. This is a story about a man who loses absolutely everything. So just imagine this for a second. You're caught in a violent storm out at sea. The waves are like mountains. A ship gets torn to pieces, and everyone is lost. Except for one man. He washes up on the shore of a deserted island, totally and completely cut off from the entire world. Day after day, he just stares at that empty horizon, praying for a ship, but nobody comes. His hope just starts to fizzle out into despair. But even when you're in total despair, that will to survive is a powerful thing. The man realizes he can't just sit around and wait for rescue. He's got to build his own safety. So after weeks of just back-breaking work, gathering branches, his hands are raw and blistered, he's weak from hunger, he finally finishes building this little hut. Now, it's not much, but after 20 days of nothing but uncertainty, it feels like this massive accomplishment. And you gotta understand, this thing was way more than just a roof over his head. It was the only thing in the whole world he could call his own. It was proof that he was still alive, a real, tangible piece of security in what felt like a totally hopeless situation. Okay, so before we see what happens next, let's just pause on this for a second. It is so easy to get completely lost in the pain of one bad day, isn't it? We're holding on to that one puzzle piece so tightly, we can't even imagine how it could possibly fit into some kind of beautiful, bigger picture. Just remember that feeling, that limited view. Because just when this man has finally found that little sliver of stability, his entire world is about to go up in smoke. He's out trying to find something to eat, and as he's heading back, he sees it, this terrifying plume of smoke, and then the flames. His hut, his home, his only piece of security is being completely swallowed by fire, and all he can do is stand there, totally helpless, and watch the one thing he worked for just turn to ash. And this is his breaking point. After the shipwreck, the loneliness, the constant struggle to survive, and now this. It feels like this cruel personal attack. He just screams at the sky, completely convinced that the universe isn't just ignoring him, but that it's actively trying to destroy him. This is the absolute rock bottom of his life. He spends that night just completely broken, lying on the cold sand. But, what feels like an ending is so often just the start of a brand new chapter. The sound of a ship's horn just cuts through the quiet morning air. He opens his eyes, and he can't believe it. It's not a dream. There's a real ship anchored just off the coast, and a small boat is heading right for him. After all that time, rescue is finally actually here. He's just overjoyed. He gets on the boat, gets to the ship, and he asks the captain, How in the world did you find me? And the captain just looks at him and says 5 simple words. We saw your smoke signal. The man is just stunned. The fire, the disaster, the thing he thought was the absolute worst moment of his life. That was the very thing that saved him. So, what's the takeaway here? This is where the story stops being about him and becomes a tool for us. It's all about learning how to reframe our own fires. Just think about it, the 2 totally different points of view. From the man's perspective, down on the beach, that fire was a catastrophe. It was the end of everything. But from the ship's perspective, way out on the horizon, it was a crystal clear signal for help. The exact same event had 2 completely opposite meanings. This story really is the perfect definition of a blessing in disguise. It's that moment when something you were so sure was terrible, something you were fighting against, turns out to be the exact thing you needed all along. So try to apply this to your own life. When your hut burns down, maybe you lose a job you loved, a plan you worked on for months fails, or a relationship ends, it feels like an absolute disaster. But what if it's the universe sending up a smoke signal for you?
a sign that a different ship, maybe even a better one, is on the horizon. So I want to leave you with this question to really mull over. Think about the challenges you're facing right now, the things that feel like total failures or dead ends. What if they aren't roadblocks at all? What if they're the smoke signals clearing the way and pointing you toward a rescue you couldn't even have imagined yet?